Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, dyed my hair blue so boss would stop blaming me for hair in customers' food. My tenant did over $50,000 in damages and asked me for a character referral. Liquid laundry detergent stolen from my cabinet in communal space. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Dyed my hair blue so boss would stop blaming me for hair in customers' food. I used to work for a sandwich shop. All the other employees there were Indian women with very long black hair. Mine was sort of similar, I suppose. Medium length and brown. But every time a customer would complain about a long black hair in the food, my boss would immediately blame me without any hesitation or investigation, despite the fact that I was the only person who wore my hair up and netted. So one day I dyed my hair blue with the sole purpose of not being blamed for black hair being in the food. You guessed it, it happened. And how huffy and annoyed my boss got when I said it couldn't be my hair because mine is blue was beyond amusing. Yup, I got blamed for this. I had short brown hair. I worked with guys who had long hair. So I dyed mine red. Nope, chef. Mine's red. The cafe owner when I worked in food tried to blame us for a medium-length brown hair. Blamed me, I took my hat off and pointed at my short red hair. Blamed prep food girl, nope, that's long black hair. Dishwasher? Nope, that's a dude with a buzz cut. The runner? Nope, she's blonde. Well, I guess the customer put it there. No ma'am, you insisted the kitchen was too slow and pushed your way in to help, and you are the only one with medium-length brown hair. I saw a similar situation. A lady wanted free lunch, so she said there was hair in her food. The manager made a big show of calling all the staff out. They were all bald. It's their arm hair. My sister was a waitress and told the story once of this lady who came in and said she found one of those twisty ties for loaves of bread in her food. She wanted her food comped, but none of the ingredients in the kitchen or supplies used those twisty ties. I called my bright pink hair my food safety hair. Great way of getting around strict dress codes at work. Yeah, my hair isn't a natural shade, but we aren't allowed natural shade band-aids, are we, Mr. Bossman? Was at a restaurant, pulling a hair out of my food. The server noticed and ran over. He was apologizing and reaching for my food. Had to stop him and let him know I was pretty sure the hair was mine. Well, I bet he felt fairly blue that he couldn't blame you anymore. Got blamed for it by a customer once. The kicker is that I am a man and under my hat, you guessed it, shaved bald. I'm a chef. I've got a number 3 shortcut, bleached blonde. Customers sent food back saying it was my hair, 8-inch black, in her food. I went to speak with the long raven-haired lady and we both agreed it wasn't mine. My tenant did over $50,000 in damages and asked me for a character referral. Sorry, this is a little long. When my wife, 24F, and I, 28M, were starting out, we had a little old rental house downtown that we leased to male students. When we moved out of the county for a job, I figured it would be easier to rent to one family rather than chase around 6 separate broke students for rent, shared bedrooms. The first family that we put in there turned out to be a bad choice on my part. Misty, 40F, was fine for the first 4 months or so. When I visited in person, the house was noticeably getting gross. They weren't taking care of things. This might have been somewhat forgivable, but then Misty stopped paying rent on time. To make matters worse, there was a plumbing issue that sounded expensive. The toilets were backing up and sewage was soaking the carpets in the basement. The whole place stank. I didn't even know why. The plumber ran a camera down the pipes to see what was happening. He informed me that the clog was a result of a buildup of needles. You know, the kind one might use for drugs. I opted to pay $1,000 to have them use high pressure to flush out the system. Unfortunately, my house was nearly 100 years old, so the high pressure destroyed the clay connector to the city's sewage system. The only way to fix it was to shut down a major residential road and dig to it for $30,000. Insurance wasn't in any hurry to pay either. I didn't have that kind of cash sitting around at the moment, and Misty was still in there. I wanted to evict Misty, but it would be a long process, and I knew that she would fight tooth and nail to stay, as she didn't want to go back to her parents, who lived just down the street. By this point, my house resembled a hoarder's home, and I suspected that drugs were being dealt there. Rather than evicting Misty, I called the health department because they were living with no running water and a porta-potty that they rented in the backyard. It was gross. They also had 2 girls there under the age of 10. It took a visit from a team of sheriffs to get her out, and only well after the property was condemned. When Misty finally did leave, she left about 100 pounds of rotting meat on the front lawn. She also left the house a giant mess and stole many of my things. I was so relieved that she was gone that I almost didn't care. She was a major source of stress in my life and in my marriage. It ended up taking several hundred hours and over $50,000 to fix up the house. Eventually, insurance came through for part of it. I tried not to be resentful about the situation, because being a drug addict and living in a condemned building is its own hell. There wasn't anything that I could feel good about doing to her. She was already doomed to live poorly based on her own choices. By this point in life, I felt like I was above petty revenge. Besides, she had 2 kids. Oddly, Misty had the gal text me to ask for a character referral for a new place since she didn't have anyone else. Other than her parents, presumably. I was dumbfounded, but texted back a thumbs up. Maybe I could save the next guy. Eventually, I did get the call from the next guy asking about Misty. He was an asshole to me on the phone. He was talking over me and talking down to me. He was an expert landlord, doing his due diligence, etc. I tried to get my story about Misty in, but then I paused. I listened to him talk down to me some more. I'm a total stranger, what the hell, and then I waited until it was my turn. I told him, Misty was great. I had some major plumbing issues, otherwise she'd still be with me. Also, she's got a cute family. Treat me with disrespect? Good luck with Misty. You two deserve each other. Misty got the place and thanked me. Then I never heard from either of them again. Petty me. That did not end like I thought it would. Long story about the tenant, petty revenge against their next landlord. Always be polite to other people. ESP in the same business. You never know when you'll need something, the truth, a favor, help, and, it's just a good thing to do. Truth. We've gotten several customer referrals just from being decent to others and doing our job right. We clean pools in a somewhat competitive market, but we have established connections with others in the industry, which has opened up many opportunities. Being polite is free and very rewarding. Maybe message Misty, treat your new home the way you treated your last home. Glad you finally got that needle out of your haystack and into another's. It blows my mind when someone who wants a favor from you is an asshole to you. What do they expect from that? They are always going to get screwed, and they deserve it. Liquid laundry detergent stolen from my cabinet in communal space. Apartment complex and everyone has an assigned cabinet. Now you could provide your own lock, but I only stored detergent there. I noticed it getting lower and lower between my uses. Had one seriously sketchy couple down hallway and placed my bets. I put in blue RIT clothing dye. 3 days later, it's the sketchy couple down the hall pounding on my door because I ruined 3 batches of laundry. When I asked them how I ruined their laundry, they admitted to stealing my detergent from my cupboard. I asked them to hold on a minute. Close the door and go and get my detergent from the pantry closet. Come back and show them this is my detergent and that I don't use the communal cupboard because humans have zero respect for others' property and steal stuff. That some prankster must be having a go by putting some spiked detergent in one of the cupboards. I also thanked them for letting me know that anyone that would be so petty as to steal detergent wouldn't be trustworthy on any other front. They were evicted a few months later anyways. Had a similar experience. I used to rent a room to this guy. I always noticed that the gas in my gas can was disappearing when I went to fill up the lawnmower. I'd fill it up with 6 gallons in the can, and next time I went to cut the grass it was gone. I filled it up with water and low, and behold, the next day the guy's car would not start. He took it to a repair shop and they told him his tank was full of water. He tried to blame me, but I told him I had no idea what he was talking about. Would have died to see their reaction. I found this washed up boat in my laundry, I'm giving it to you. I don't understand people who steal laundry detergent. One of the laundromat I used to frequent provides free detergent. It's a few large tubs sitting atop of the washers, ready to use. Few weeks later a poster was in place in front of one of the washers showing someone actually stealing one of the tubs. It's already free, man. Why you gotta ruin it for the rest of us? And like, you clearly don't own a washer, so where are you going to use it? The tide turned on them. I opened this thread convinced you were going to put bleach in the container. You surprised me with something better. Very petty. Well played. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.